Oh, can't see me yet. Hello, people. How's it going? Hope all is well. This video is coming to you slightly in advance, but we are going to get straight into it because if you saw the thumbnail, then you already know who today is about. And if you saw the thumbnail and you're like, girl, I don't know who that is, don't worry. We're about to get into it right now. A person who can read changes their life. A person who can think changes their family. But a person who can awaken identity changes generations. Welcome back to the Literacy Reset. 30 days of raising architects. Today, we reset collective identity because literacy does more than inform individuals. It can actually unify movements. All right, so let's get into it. Let me make sure you guys can see the screen. Yes, yes. Marcus Garvey. He was born in Jamaica in 1887. As a young man, he worked in printing and publishing. That matters because before he led millions, he mastered communication. In 1914, he founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Its mission, economic independence, cultural pride, global unity for people of African descent. At this height, the UNIA had millions of members worldwide. Millions. Garvey launched newspapers, built businesses, created the Black Star Line Shipping Company. He wasn't just giving speeches, he was building systems. He was understanding something very critical in this moment of time. If you control the narrative, you influence identity. If you influence identity, you can influence action. So I am super stoked about him because, not for nothing, he has done many things that people don't often give credence to. I mean, those who know. But the unification of African descent is also a lean in on the Pan African movement. And so this is where we are discussing uniting people of African descent, no matter what country or continent you were born on, underneath this same umbrella of working together, structuring economic empowerment, collaborative, right? Work and creating businesses of the sort, creating jobs too. And so when we get into today's hidden principle, literacy shapes, collective identity. Garvey used newspapers, essays, speeches, and printed materials to unify people across the continent. And let me switch here with you guys. Sorry about that. He leveraged language to reframe self-perception, reclaim historical narratives, promote economic empowerment, and mobilize coordinated action. Literacy builds narrative awareness, media discernment, something that kind of peaks at the moment of time of where we are this month in March 2026. Okay. Persuasive communication, cultural literacy, and economic vision. Children who read broadly understand how identity is shaped. Children who analyze media learn to question messaging. Children who write persuasively learn to shape ideas responsibly. Garvey did not wait for permission. He built intellectual infrastructure. Now, there is power in the ability of telling your own story. We know that through the lessons of history. We know that through what's being revealed through history over and over again, right? And so when we look at that, we have to frame that into such a way that we are showing our children, to own your narrative, own your story, create your own legacy. Use your literacy for empowerment. Use your literacy to or define who you are, or to even define a moment within history. Give it to clarity, give it context, right? And so here we're seeing that Garvey understood that oppression often begins with narrative control. If people believe they are powerless, they remain passive. If people understand their history, their capacity, their economic influence, they move differently. This is why literacy matters so deeply. A child who cannot critically analyze narrative can be manipulated by it. But a child who can trace messaging, evaluate sources, interpret rhetoric, they become intellectually sovereign. That in itself is powerful, especially in the days of where we have AI and different people writing different stories and things of that nature. We've seen things changed in books and so forth, right? And so while everyone has the power to tell their own story, we do have to have discernment of, well, what is really true, what's factual, how do we get there, what do we understand about primary sources and of the like, right? And so with this, I will sit here and say that this is a fine opportunity for us now to gauge the pathway on how we can utilize these skills in our homeschool, our classroom, or literacy institution of the like, right? Because these are things that children can take with them as they grow up, as they decide to go to college, create a business, or if they're working for a company. How do they use the literacy to empower themselves and to shape the narrative, and most respectfully, their narrative? So here we go. First, how do we build collective identity literacy at home? Teach media analysis. Ask, who created this message? What is the goal? Who benefits? Second, explore cultural history. Study global movements. Analyze economic systems. Understand historical narratives from multiple perspectives. Right now, especially when it comes to Black history, African American history, or something of that, like, there's so many different perspectives and narratives, right? And so how do we make sure we get into the root? Well, one is understanding the culture of the people. And by the people, I'm meaning, who were you before, who are you now, and where are your people going today? All of those things tie into things, and we can see where culture resonates from continent to continent, from community to community, right? What are the similarities, what are the differences, and so forth, because culture does shift. And so being aware of that, right? Navigating that, having discernment within that, holds a lot of weight too. Next, I would understand with writing for vision. Have your child draft a mission statement, create a community initiative, design a mock economic proposal. What is something that's happening in your community right now that you wish would change to be better or to enhance, right? What's a population within your community that you would love to serve? Oftentimes, in the past, we would do a give back through Reading for Smiles. We helped with one of the hurricanes that happens. I feel like it was Isabella or something like that. Y'all be mad at me for getting the name wrong, child. But it was in October. It was the one that took New York down because it messed up the Rockaways and so forth. I don't know why the name is skipping me for right now. Anyway, we did a give back for them. Then we had women in the homeless shelters, and we partnered with a shelter that was out in Jamaica, Queens. The children did not go visit the shelter, but what we did was we collected so many pocketbooks, and inside those purses we made Mother's Day cards just to let people know that they were still loved and still thought about regardless of their situation and circumstance. And we had a great conversation with the director of that shelter because she was explaining to us, how someone could become homeless, right? It's not just a one pick draw on that type of storyline. Anything could happen. You could have a fire, you could be leaving a situation, you could be in a war zone. There's so many different things. And so she walked us through that, of course, in child-friendly language, and got the children to understand a in-depth more knowledge of what it's like to be homeless, and to also let them know, like, we live in a city where support is here, and you guys doing this is going to make them feel good. We also made baskets for veterans, displaced veterans, right? And so the list goes on and on and on. I always had the kids involved in something because that shows how we give back and how we add value to our community, right? We don't just take from our community, we give back to it. So the last thing would be teach economic literacy, basic entrepreneurship, supply and demand, ownership models. Garvey wasn't just inspiring pride. He was inspiring and encouraging ownership. Architects build systems that serve the communities in which they're in, right? Or the communities that they create. Hello, somebody. We are in a new system and dynamic now where we have online communities that are forging, and they're able to do great things. Great things. So, something that I definitely want people to take away when we're looking at this is you are not raising children to drift through narratives. You are raising them to understand them, to question them, to shape them responsibly. Collective identity can empower, but it must be grounded in wisdom and discernment. Literacy is what keeps influence ethical. If we want children who build businesses, strengthen communities, shape culture responsibly, then literacy must include historical awareness, media analysis, economic reasoning, and vision casting. Inside the R4S Homeschool Clarity Roadmap, we help families integrate mission driven written frameworks, cultural literacy study blocks, entrepreneurial literacy pathways, because architects don't just consume culture, they construct it. And when we are calling ourselves the architect parents, then we are constructing what literacy looks like in our homes or in our classrooms, in our schools, in our literacy centers, right? In our after school programs. We are designing for them. We are building out a structure and a pathway that they can follow and thrive in. Do they have to be perfect? No, but they have to be intentional. And you don't always get that with a curriculum that you just buy and pop off of online. You have to know what you are already looking and gearing towards. It's so important. So, so important. And so, at the time of that, this video is going to be dropped. I am hosting my live roadmap webinar, right? I teach you the framework that can be used before you even think about buying a curriculum, right? Before you even think of, oh, let me write my IHIP for the state of New York and for my people that's in New York, right? Before you get there, let's talk about the things that are necessary before you just be wasting time. And so in the webinar, I'm teaching you how to plan out your school year within an hour. Within an hour. Okay? So I'm going to put the link to that also in the description of this video. And then I'm also going to invite you to join our school community. This is a literacy center strategy lab where intentional parents become education architects. We're looking at what does it take to be an architect parent? How do we build the confident reader and the confident writer? What are some things and techniques that we can use and make sure that our children are thriving, right? What is it that we're creating that fits our home, our morals, our beliefs? All of that. All of that. Because no home is the same. No child is the same. And so if you want to be surrounded with other parents that are vested in designing for their child, join the group. Join the group. The Clarity Roadmap, the next intensive, starts on April 9th. April 9th. If you're interested in that, I will leave the link for that also in the chat, or rather the description box. This way you can sign up for that, check it out, see what's your thing, but definitely join us. Again, save your time, save the headaches, and be a part of the community where we're doing this in real time together and as a collective. Okay. And so then I will say this as we close out. Building a collective identity is important when you are shaping culture in your community. And so today's reset, we reset collective identity. I look forward to seeing you in episode 25. And I hope that when this episode finds you, you are well and doing fine. See you next time. Many parents ask me, what exactly do you do at Reading for Smiles? Let me show you. Our mission at Reading for Smiles is very simple. We help families raise confident readers, writers, and thinkers. We also produce a YouTube series called Literacy Reset, where we explore powerful literacy lessons through the lives of great thinkers, innovators, and leaders. We have a community called the R4S Homeschool Studio, where homeschool parents come together to learn, plan, and support each other. For parents inside the community, you guys can learn through 2 courses: the Architect Parent, which helps you design homeschool with intention, and the Confident Reader and Writer course, which is a framework for building strong literacy at home. We also offer a homeschool roadmap intensive, where we help parents plan their homeschool year with clarity. And for the babies, of course, we create literacy learning packs, have on-demand courses, and I also have ebooks for parents to help them strengthen their homeschools by developing reading, writing, and thinking skills and programs and projects in the house. If you're homeschooling and you want support raising strong readers and thinkers, then definitely come join our community on School. We can't wait to see you and have you there with us.